Hey friends, I feel like I need to preface this week's episode with some commentary on what happened on Election Day. If you'd rather skip that and get straight to the good news, you can skip about 10 minutes into the episode to skip past what I'm about to say. Some of it's going to be really hard to listen to, and it deals with some pretty awful subjects. And if you're not in a position to deal with that right now, I would encourage you to go ahead and skip to 10 minutes into the episode. But if you want to know where I'm at and what I'm feeling, here it is. You'll hear in this episode, we recorded it the Sunday previous to Election Day, and like most of the rest of the country, we were confident that we were on our way to a victory. We know as people who are socially conscious and care about justice for LGBTQ people, people of color, disabled people, and other marginalized groups that the status quo is wholly unsatisfactory. A Clinton victory would have meant the continuation of a status quo that's seen police brutality against Black people on the rise, continued murder and suicide of queer and trans people, and outrageous income inequality that's seen far too much of the recovery from the 2008 financial collapse enjoyed by the most affluent in our society only. What we would have done had Hillary Clinton won the election would be a collective sigh of relief, simply for the fact that things weren't going to get worse. We could count on the slow and incremental improvements we've seen that come far too slow and far too late to prevent the suffering and loss of life we've all endured over the past few years. Suffice it to say, this was not an election most of us were overly excited about in the first place. All of the polls, all the experts, and all practical data and analysis told us that we could feel secure in the knowledge that at least things wouldn't get worse. We might end up with someone who was our last choice as a progressive candidate, but at least we wouldn't have Donald Trump. I've got to be real for a second. I'm not actually surprised. At least I'm not surprised that this could happen. I'm surprised that it did, given that all signs pointed to a Clinton victory for quite some time. The kind of racism and xenophobia, naked incuriosity, and general hatred and disregard of minority groups that fueled Trump's victory are not new. This is something that especially people of color see, experience, and deal with every day. So on one hand, I would hope any socially conscious person wouldn't be entirely surprised. That being said, not being surprised that a thing could happen and actually seeing it happen are two completely and utterly different experiences. I may not be completely surprised, but I'm still completely dismayed and just utterly not okay over what happened on Election Day. My country voted for racism, xenophobia, and hatred, and the rolling back of every progressive reform we've seen over the past 8 years. And I do mean every progressive reform. I'm facing the very real prospect of losing the right to marry my girlfriend. Millions of people for whom Obamacare was a barely adequate lifeline to medical care face the prospect now of losing even that. I could go on for hours talking about how bad things would get, but I think if you're listening to this show, I probably don't have to elaborate too much. Here's the thing to let sink in. This election will have a body count. I've had several people reach out to me asking for suicide hotline numbers. I've seen trans and queer people on Facebook openly contemplating whether or not their lives are about to become so hard so as not to become worth living anymore. And I would be lying if I said that I didn't have some similar thoughts, if only in passing. I'm not going to blow sunshine up anyone's ass here. As much as I try to focus on positivity and lifting each other up and loving each other, I don't ever want to come off as falsely idealistic or dismissive of people's valid fears and concerns. I want more than anything in the world to say it's going to be okay. But if I promised you that, I'd be lying. Shit is about to get very rough in an already rough situation. There's no two ways about it. Here's what I can promise you. I can promise you that as I take care of myself and work myself through everything that I'm going through, that I am going to continue to fight for you. There's an amazing community of allies who are already fighting and are now galvanized on our behalf. We value your lives, and we will fight with every ounce of energy we have to maintain the progress we can. We'll do our best to create space for you in a society where space seems to be shrinking. We will love you through whatever comes. You continue to be as valued by this community as you were yesterday, and you will be as valued tomorrow as you are right now. I acknowledge and recognize that sometimes it's hard to feel valued when our community seems so small and the opposition seems so large. I acknowledge that sometimes even our own community seems unwelcoming and that it feels like there's no place for you. I want to promise you that even if there's no other place for you in society, that there is a place for you here. You're valued, you're loved, your life is important, and you matter. I'm going to address our allies here in just a minute, but I want to say one last thing to the most vulnerable people listening to this. It's said at the end of the episode, just like it is in every episode, but I don't feel like it can be said enough. And I feel like it needs saying again more earnestly in the context of what happened yesterday. I want you to know that if you're lost, you're hurting, you're scared, if you feel like no one cares and no one understands, you need to know there's a community out here that loves you, cares for you, knows that you're capable of amazing things and that you are worthy of love. If you're struggling, please, please don't be afraid to reach out. Now, I specifically want to address the allies who may be listening. Now's the time. Only you know your ability to engage in activism to push towards social change, and I want to invite you to honestly consider your capacity to be involved and to get more involved if you can. A very vulnerable population got even more vulnerable on election day. There plainly aren't enough of us to do this on our own. We need you. Some of our very lives depend on you. In society, your voice is valued more than mine. We need you to amplify our voices and use whatever privilege you may have to even the playing field for all of us. A lot of people are justifiably scared and worried tonight. I've seen some very scary things on my social media feeds tonight that tell me this is going to get worse before it gets better. We always need you, but we need you now more than we ever have. We've elected a president who is apathetic at best to LGBT equality and one of the most anti-LGBT candidates ever as vice president. The Republican platform is virulently anti-LGBT and endorses the overturning of marriage rights and conversion therapy, which literally gets LGBT kids killed. And they now control the House and the Senate. Unless something absolutely outrageous and unprecedented happens, this is our reality at least until the year 2020. I can't stress enough how badly we need you right now. We need your time. We need your voice. We need your energy. We need your affirmation. We need your love. And frankly, we need your money. For some of us, our literal lives are on the line, and I'm begging you to continue to show up for us. I've given a lot of thought to whether or not to leave our good news episode intact, posting it as it was recorded and edited before we knew the results of the election. And I've decided to do just that. We're all going to grieve this in our own ways. And one of the ways that's important for me to cope with bad situations is to try to purposely seek out the good things that are going on in other people's lives. I'm going to be honest and say that sort of seems silly right now. But I think maybe the times where it seems silly are the times that are the most important to do this. We need to know that there are still good people out there who love and care for us. We need to know that good and beautiful things are still possible. I want to validate your feelings no matter where you're at. But if you need an escape, if you need positivity, if you need to hear about good things, you'll find those things in this episode. And even if it's nothing more than to relive a time where we were more optimistic and things seemed less dark. I don't know for sure what the future holds, but I hope today, listening to this, that you can find at least something small to smile about. I sincerely love everyone listening to this, and I mean every word of the outro to this show. We're here if you need us. We will be your community. Reach out if you feel like you need to. Here's the show.
Exclusively on Secular Media Network, this is the Gaytheist Manifesto.
Hello and welcome to the Gaytheist Manifesto, your source for news, commentary, discussion, and debate at the intersection of the atheist movement and the LGBT rights movement. I am your host, Callie Wright, joined by my co-host, Ari Stillman. What's up, Ari?
I am drowning in that delicious discount Halloween candy. Oh, so good.
That's fantastic.
One of my favorite days of the year is discount candy day. After Halloween, after, what else is there? Easter, Valentine's Day. It's awesome. I love it. Yes.
And you're drowning in little bits at a time, right? Because it's all like the fun size.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately, for the most part.
Yeah, drowning by 1,000 little...
Zach already ate his half in like a day, and I will have mine lasting for the next probably 4 months.
All right. Well, it's cool that we're officially back to our regular recording schedule. The last few episodes have been recorded either on weird dates or like totally pre-recorded because I was doing the tour and all that. And I think this is the first like regular recording session date that Ari and I have done in like a month and a half. So it feels good to be...
Yay, we're not recording 4 episodes in one day.
Yeah.
Only one.
And it makes me very happy that the episode that is that episode is a good news episode. So I initially kind of had the idea that we were going to do sort of like let's get together on Friday and do a live like election commentary episode about what happened during the election. And like you're going to see the explicit tag on this. Fuck the election. Like I'm so done. Like I'm going to vote on Tuesday. I have, what I hope for the outcome to be, but I'm just so fucking over arguing and trying to convince people to not be assholes and all of that. And I'm just done with it. So I think
really
it's way more fitting
to me. I mean, how can you afford to not be involved in the political process, Callie?
I've been too involved over the last few months. That's the problem. So I figured, we did the last episode that was the election fatigue, where we were sort of commiserating over how exhausted we all were. And we're going to follow it up this week by having a good news episode. And we all, and I feel like we all need to laugh as much as possible. So we also brought in a special guest co-host. We're actually going to call him a special guest co-host for this episode. He's not just a guest.
Whoa.
Eli Bosnick from all over the podcast universe.
You've been promoted, Eli.
Yeah.
You've been on enough times as a guest that you are now like a guest rogue.
Is that why I got knighted with a new pronoun?
Exactly.
That's what it was.
Yeah, and instead of a sword, you noticed it was a dildo that was being used.
I did.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like when the queen does that, she doesn't shove the sword in people's mouths. Just a little note. I'm not making a deal out of it. I don't want to bring drama on the podcast. I just feel like there was a lot of dildo in mouth just now. We have been recording for 4.5 hours. Most of it, I've had a dildo in my mouth. That's all I'm saying.
Well, now you know what happens in the community here behind closed doors, so that's good.
Man, I should have paid attention to Jim Bakker more. He warned me.
Well, now you know.
Maybe you can use the dildo to stir the slop when you get your order in.
Oh, we have the bucket. We just have yet to all sit down and eat it because there's so much of it. And so we literally, we as a company have had several meetings where we've been like, all right, guys, we need enough time to prepare, eat, and then be sick from this vast amount of poison we're going to consume for people's amusement. How about Thursday? No, I got something Friday. All right, how about Friday? Yeah, that's good. I can be sick all day Saturday.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what we need. So the first segment of the show is always us talking about some personal good news. And personally, I actually, like, as much as I've been kind of struggling lately with, election fatigue and some, depression and dysphoria stuff, and also my dad dying, I actually do have a lot of good news. But I think out of respect for the ordeal that Eli's been through over the last 4.5 hours, I think we're going to let Eli go first.
See, we're nice here.
Oh, all right. Let's see. Well, this just sort of got announced that we will be doing a God Awful Movies live at ReasonCon. This is my very first ReasonCon, so I'm very, very excited to meet so many people for whom that's really the only convention they get to. So that's really exciting. In my personal life, so here's the thing. I have been on sort of a weight loss journey that I never talk about because it feels so terrible to be like, oh my God, you guys, at the beginning of the year, I was 200 pounds and now I'm, because like I didn't have a lot of weight to lose. I just really wanted to like get more active and take better care of myself. And so I recently hit a milestone there, with my personal trainer, who's very, very sweet. I recommend everybody look her up. Her name's Casey Rogers. She does a little thing called Fitness on the Rocks. Very good, very science-based. But the thing that makes me happiest about my personal trainer is that she is the story of a date going the worst of my entire life. And because it can't be just as simple as, oh, I just found this personal trainer and she's great. There has to be more than that. Yeah. Well, so here's the story. And I think if anything is good news, it's how embarrassing and terrible this story is for me. Casey and I both went to NYU together. And we were in a creative writing class together. And like around the last day of the creative writing class, I asked her out on a date and she was like, yeah, absolutely. Let's go to a movie. So we went to a movie and she's like, if you check her out first, was super duper cute, super duper out of my league, which is great. Like, again, I've gotten lucky multiple times throughout my life and I was just like, awesome. Your self-esteem is low. So we're waiting in the refreshment line with the bucket of popcorn. And I'm like, what size do you want? And she's like, I want a large. And I was like, oh, you're going to be disappointed. Small dick joke. Ba-da-ba-ba. And she got a little uncomfortable from it. She didn't like freak out, but she very clearly signaled in her face and body like, ugh, gross joke. This is a first date. And so I panicked. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to feel threatened and she's going to think that I'm being super creepy and I made a dick joke. Why did I make a dick joke? And so my 19-year-old or however old I was at the time solution for this is I was like, oh yeah, my girlfriend loves a small popcorn too.
Oh God.
And we both have AIDS, so it's really important that we take good care of ourselves. Let me clarify. My solution to make this girl feel more comfortable was to tell her I was in a relationship and HIV positive. And then, of course, she is sort of, shall we say, awestruck by this information. And then I make it about another 30 to 45 seconds before I go, well, I should probably head home. And she's like, the movie hasn't started yet. And I was just like, yeah, gotta go. Turned around, walked out of the theater. I assume she saw Transformers by herself.
Oh, Eli, no.
So that was my worst date experience ever. We didn't talk for like 10 years. And then earlier this year, my personal trainer, the one that like sort of started me on working out, went on tour. And I was like, okay, I gotta find a new one. And I saw that she had posted on Facebook. And I saw a bunch of her videos and stuff. I really liked her program, did a little research, seemed super professional. So I wrote to her and I was like, hey, do you want to start working together? And after we've been working together for a while, I was like, hey, do you remember this story? Because it's like the most horrific dating experience I've ever had. And she was like, no, I don't remember it at all. So it was so amazing that like the most terrible, most embarrassing flub of my life, she was just like, nope, not even a little.
Oh, that's great.
Long story short, the way to get out of an awkward date is not to say you're dating someone having AIDS. That's what I'm trying to communicate. I give away wisdom here. Now that I'm a co-host.
That's good.
Solid wisdom.
I had one of those moments with my mom once. We were like having one of those conversations that was like, Jesus, Ari, come on. You know what I'm saying? So like we were having one of those moments that's like, we're both adults now. We can talk about adult things. And I decided to tell my mom about the time that I tried weed when I was like 14 or 15 or however old I was. And I was like, and long story short, like, we were in my friend's garage, we got high, I did something really, really silly, ended up cutting myself pretty bad and had to call my mom and have her take me to the emergency room. And I was like, and then this was like 3:00 in the morning. And I figured this event had to have been seared into my mom's memory of like, I got her up out of bed at 3:00 in the morning, had her drive a half hour to my friend's house to come pick me up to take me to the emergency room. And so I was having one of those moments like, yeah, you remember that one time that, that this thing happened and you had to take me to the ER? And she's like, no, I don't remember that at all. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like,
and it's so mortifying because it haunts you in every dark moment. You're like, do you know how many nights I have stared at the ceiling and thought and just yelled at me, and you don't even, I want you to be mad.
And I tried giving extra details to like jog her memory. And she said, yeah, no. And I was like, well, fuck. All right. Like that was the first time I ever tried weed, Mom. Thanks for the conversation. That was great.
Try to recreate it like a 60 Minutes thing. Bring in actors. Remember the garage.
I think the lesson of that story is that Callie's mom doesn't care about her, apparently.
That's gotta be what it is.
Remember the time I almost died? Nope.
Yeah. Fair. I didn't actually die. I just cut my finger pretty bad. But
you heard it here first. Callie's mom cut off her finger for trying weed. That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what happened. Ari, what do you got?
So
wow, my voice just cracked. That's hilarious. Ari, what do you got?
Do I have to talk about myself now? This is my favorite thing.
I've been going to therapy. Yay! Which
that's legitimately awesome.
Might not be good news to some people, but it's great news for me because it's awesome. It helps me a lot.
If it's not good news to you, you're a jerk.
Oh, okay.
For whom would that be bad news? Stop getting help, bro.
I know. Oh, it's the worst.
Stop taking care of yourself.
There's that whole ridiculous stigma about like, oh, you go to therapy, you must be weak. Why don't you just buck up and like get better?
Because that's not how that works. So that's not what I'm doing.
So has it been helping though? Has it been good?
Yeah, I'm been to 3 sessions so far, so we're in the early stages of it, but I've already learned a lot about myself and been given a lot of good tips and gonna be doing a lot of work on myself in the next few months, so hopefully I don't spend all the weekends sleeping all the time, which is good.
Yeah, that's legitimately awesome. I'm very happy for you.
But sleeping is so fun, though, for real. It's the best.
It really is.
My therapist is like, you shouldn't sleep so much. And I'm like, no, but it's like my favorite thing to do, though. And she's like, yeah, but it's not good for you. And I'm like, but it feels good, so I should do it, right? She's like, no. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I actually get legitimately disappointed when I wake up and realize that I've only been asleep for like 6 or 7 hours. Even if I feel 100% well rested and fine, I'm like, God, why can't I just go back to sleep so I can sleep for like 8 or 10 hours? Like,
this is America.
I thought you were gonna take that to a super dark place and be like, I really hate it when I wake up after sleeping.
I'm like, why did I wake up?
Hey, good news episode.
Yeah, good news episode, Eli. Come on,
everybody. Get your shit together. It's promised a good news episode.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So the
fun
good news
stuff,
is my brain is broken, but it's getting less broken.
Perfect.
There we
That's
go.
what we like.
I have a question, and it's not specifically about therapy, but it's an experience I have in therapy.
So it's not a question, it's a story.
I want you to confirm my story for me. I want you to affirm me and make me feel better about myself.
Yes, Eli, that did happen to you.
Right, but no, I want you to validate me
right.
and appreciate it at a higher level than just hearing me. Like, I want you to tell me that I'm funny and great because I share this with you.
Well, we'll see. Tell the story first. We'll see what happens.
Do you ever have that moment where you're in therapy and you've been talking for a really, really long time and you feel like you're on like this super epic, super revelatory moment, and you turn to your therapist and you realize you've totally forgotten what you were talking about?
Yes. Every session.
That happens to me all the time. And I'm always so embarrassed because it's always like, and I always felt like, oh man, I totally lost the train of my thought. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Do you remember what I was saying? And they never just go like, oh, you were saying this. They're always like, well, what do you think that you, and I'm like, no, just remind me because I feel like I was doing good.
Yeah, that's happened to me too. It doesn't happen often, but that's definitely happened to me too. So total validation there. I actually have a couple of things that are kind of awesome. I don't think I got the chance to say anything about it because we pre-recorded all of the episodes before this happened, but I got a date for my weight loss surgery. So I'm having weight loss surgery on December 21st, which is awesome.
Suck it, Eli. Callie's weight loss is going better than yours.
Which is which is going to be great because I'm going to be having like pureed chicken for Christmas dinner. Like two tablespoons of pureed chicken is going to be Christmas dinner. So I'm really excited about that. So that's going to make Christmas super fun.
Eggnog. That's the liquid, right?
But I've lost 50 pounds.
That's incredible.
Like just and like working with my dietitian and my doctor and following the stuff. There's this book called The Diet Fix. It's not like a fad diet. It's literally like, I looked at a whole bunch of studies about people who are actually successful in weight loss, and here's what they have in common, and here's how you can change your environment and your habits to make your life conducive to weight loss. And it's all evidence-based, and he cites studies and everything. It's really, really cool. So I definitely recommend it. It was actually recommended to me by a listener of the show, if memory serves. But yeah, great book. If losing weight is a thing that you're looking to do, I would highly, highly recommend it. So that's awesome. I have a consultation for bottom surgery on December 2nd, which is amazing. Very excited for that because I found out that my work's insurance isn't changing to not be trans-inclusive anymore. So my deductible is going up a little bit, which sucks, but it's not the end of the world. And then also, this is kind of a silver lining bad news kind of thing, but anyone who follows me on Facebook will know that my dad died last weekend. And really super complicated relationship with my dad. I wasn't close to him. We didn't really have a relationship, actually. So it wasn't so much grieving him like as a person because we never really had that much of a relationship, but it was more complicated feelings around us not having a relationship, me growing up without a dad, and him dealing with severe mental illness that made it difficult for us to have a relationship, and me being really angry but not feeling like I could be angry at him because it's his illness and all of that. But the silver lining out of all of that is that I've kind of reconnected with his side of the family as a result of that, and I think like I actually want to have a relationship with them, and they expressed very, very deeply and sincerely to me that they want me to be a part of their lives. So that's kind of the silver linings out of that whole thing, is that I've sort of regained that relationship with his side of the family, which I'm very, very happy about because they're amazing people. They've always been amazing, and that 100% accepted me as Callie, when I came out and everything, because we're all friends on Facebook, and so that was really cool. And even in my dad's obituary, I was, survived by his daughter, Callie Wright, which is like, just, it seems like kind of a little thing, but it's just super affirming to see that, because that means that they see me as I actually am, and they're totally fine with all of that. And it doesn't even seem like it's really a thing to them. They just don't care. Like, they just want me in their lives, which I think is amazing. So that's good stuff. Little teary silver lining kind of good news there.
How fucking sweet.
Right.
I had a question, actually, because I read your blog about that and I thought it was amazing. What instrument do you, because you mentioned jamming with that extended family, and obviously I have married into a hugely musical family.
Right.
What instrument do you play?
I play guitar.
Oh, Anna's going to want to jam with you at ReasonCon, right? She won't take no for an answer.
She already said something about that on her Facebook post.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I was warning
Yeah.
you ahead of time. My
Yeah.
wife sniffs out musicians like a bloodhound, and just appears behind them like sleeper cell, and is like, "Hey, you want to play some music? I'm pooping right now. Yeah, you want to play some fucking music?"
Musical farts.
Yeah, which is awesome. Yeah, because I posted actually a picture. My uncle gave me my dad's guitar, which anyone who's a musician will appreciate this, or anyone who can appreciate musical instruments even. It's a blue Fender Strat that, if the serial number is to be believed, I actually have to take the neck off and look at the production date. But according to Fender's website and like the guide they have for dating guitars, it's a 1975 Strat, which is just incredible. And it's beat to hell, which like just means character in a guitar. Like, it's so beautiful. And I posted a picture of it, and a bunch of people are asking me questions, and Anna actually posted like, and see, here's the thing, like, I learned to play guitar just so I could be in bands. So I literally, like, whatever band I was in, I was just good enough to play the songs that I needed to play in the band and nothing else. So I never learned how to like improvise or anything like that. So like, I can learn songs and play chords, but like I feel pretty inadequate when it's like, oh, let's just jam. I'm like, cool, like G chord, A chord, like, yeah, we're jamming, guys, we're rocking out.
Jam sesh.
Can I do to you what I do to my wife that makes her madder than almost anything I do? So she owns
her in the
several
eye?
really beautiful.
I love how you
older-
didn't wait for an answer before you went ahead and started, but that's fine.
She owns like several beautiful old violins as well, and whenever she like starts to talk about them and like how rare they are, because like you were saying, oh, it's like if I'm gonna check and see it's like an old 1975 Strat. I always wait until she gets about there, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. You should sell that. You should sell it. Is that worth a lot of money? Let's sell it. Let's sell it. We could like invest it or something, or just like take the cash and put it in a house somewhere. She hates it so much. Makes her so unhappy.
Well, I have some cool old stuff too. I have some leftovers in my fridge from like a month ago that I forgot about. I'm cool. Silence.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Ari. Good job.
Silence. Oh.
I never get to make fun of anybody for collecting anything because I'm sitting next to almost 10,000 comic books. Literally. I'm like sitting next to them.
It's over 9,000.
So does anybody else have any other good news that they want to share before we move on to the next segment?
Is there another person on this call that we didn't know about? Is that what you're asking? Like, hey, other person.
I just wanted to make sure that
share
you
some
and
stuff.
Eli finished talking about all of the stuff that you wanted to talk about, you asshole. I'm
This is
trying
a
to be
good news
considerate.
episode. Stop fighting. You're ruining my birthday party.
Mom, Dad, stop fighting.
Trigger warning.
I didn't ask to be born again.
So I'll take that as a no.
Yay!
So we'll take a quick break, and in the next segment, we're going to talk about good news from things that we have found in the news. More Gatheist Manifesto right after this. Edit point.
This episode brought to you by Blue Apron. Blue Apron.
God damn it.
/Gatheist.
That's being left in the episode. I want you to know that.
Good, motherfuckers.
Do you want to live in a world where ignorance rules? Ignorance would have you believe that the world is a terrifying place, ruled by an unknowable and invisible force that demands your love upon pain of eternal torture. Ignorance would have you believe that the sun is a horse-drawn chariot, the earth is flat, and that faith, the evidence of things not seen, is a virtue. Ignorance would have you believe the South is filled only with ignorant rednecks who've never worn shoes, and that it is a dangerous place for the open-minded to visit and live. Ignorance would have you believe a lot of things. Ignorance is wrong. Reason has been working hard to make life better for all Americans and humanity across the globe since before the discovery of fire. Reason wants a better life for you and for your family. Reason helped Ignaz Semmelweis discover in 1847 that hand washing could help prevent the transmission of disease, saving countless lives. In 1944, Reason helped Grace Hopper and Howard Aiken develop the Mark I computer. Reason took us to the moon, gave us all supercomputers in our pockets, and allows amputees to walk again through prosthetic technology. Reason has done all of this and has never accepted a cent in compensation. Reason reaches across the aisles to help those with faith make morally sound judgments and helps us all change our own worldview when new evidence is brought to light. Reason helps us all. Ignorance is wrong for America and wrong for the world. This 2017, make your voice heard by telling ignorance it is totally wrong for you and the world by making reason your chosen philosophy. And buy your tickets now for ReasonCon 3. Join us and our speakers and champions of reason, Lawrence Krauss, Matt Dillahunty, Aaron Ra, Callie Wright, Jim Craig, and Emily Templewood. Also a whole lot of your favorite podcasters, as well as your new friends, old friends, and those unmet in a celebration of all that is reasonable. Join us in helping to put reason back in the driver's seat of America and the world.
ReasonCon 3 will be held in Hickory, North Carolina on April 21st and 22nd, 2017. Please get your tickets at reasonnc.com. That's reasonnc.com.
I'm Miss B. Haven, and I approve this message.
Welcome back to the Atheist Manifesto and this very special good news episode with our guest co-host Eli Bosnick. So in the second segment, what we always do is we find stories from the news having to do with atheism or LGBT stuff or science or any of that kind of stuff to kind of make us feel like the entire world isn't shit 100% of the time. Maybe we're fooling ourselves, maybe, but there's some validity to that, I think. So the first story, I want to talk about the first story, and this is, it's not exactly news per se, I guess, because the album came out in 2015, but this was a post on advocate.com that had a music video. I guess the music video is new, and this is an album with songs that are written specifically to be affirming to queer and trans people. It's called Love Songs for the Rest of Us, and it's by artists named Stephanie Ryan Johnstone and Jillian Buckley. And the album is really awesome. The video is super powerful. I'm going to put a link to the video in the show notes, but I'm going to go ahead and play the song here. It's real short. It's like 3 minutes long. And I literally was like sitting on my couch crying, which is not like, that's not an out of the ordinary thing because I cry all the time because that's who I am as a person. But still, it's like, it's super affirming, and the video is amazing because it really does show a full breadth of the queer and trans community, you know, non-binary folks, people who are super androgynous, people of color, just a full spectrum of diversity. It was really, really awesome. So I'm going to play the song because I think the song is amazing and the singers' voices are incredible. And I would definitely encourage you to check out the video and the rest of it. I'll leave links to the album and the video and all of that. So I'm going to play that song here.
No wonder you are racked with pain, my love. The aftertaste of shame doesn't easily fade away. I hear your fear, I've been there too, my love. This rage in me is rooted in all that says you're not okay. To my sister coming out at 14, to my mother who's beginning to understand what that means, to my neighbor with secret fantasies, to anyone, anywhere who's ever felt they're alone in thinking these things. No shame being into what you're into. No worries, you're not into what you're not. You're invited to be all of who you are, loving only who you love, saying yes when it feels good. Oh, to my brother whose wounds are still raw, to my lover who owns a desire like never before, to my neighbor who's never felt that pull, to anyone finding what makes their body alive and their heart full. No shame being into what you're into. No worries, you're not into what you're not. You're invited to be all of who you are, loving only who you love, saying yes when it feels good, saying yes when it feels good, saying yes when it feels good. No shame being into what you're into. No worries, you're not into what you're not. You're invited to be all of who you are, loving only who you love, saying yes when it feels good. Oh, no shame being into what you're into. No worries, you're not into what you're not. You're invited to be all of who you are, loving only who you love, saying yes when it feels good, saying yes when it feels good, saying yes when it feels good.
Oh my God, I love it so much.
That was rather unexpected because she's got this sweet, kind of wholesome, innocent kind of voice, and she's singing about like slightly sexual topics.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, okay.
And it's so cool. Like, you definitely have to watch the video. The song's called No Shame. Again, the album's called Love Songs for the Rest of Us. I'll have links in the description. So yeah, so that's my first story, because I don't know, it's just really cool because there's so much, stuff about the queer and trans community that doesn't really represent us. It's and it's cool because they obviously put a lot of thought into, like, we really need to be as diverse as possible when we're shooting this video because we want to represent the entire community, and that's not something that happens a lot. So yeah, really, really cool. Ari, what you want to go next?
Oh, Callie, you're gonna love this one. 2 of your favorite things: gay stuff and penguins.
Oh my god, I saw this. This is the greatest thing ever.
From
I feel like
Pink
you're probably
News.
picturing something different than I'm thinking of. Just throw that out there.
This gay penguin couple are celebrating their 10th anniversary. Holy crap, that's a long time, even for humans. So,
oh my god.
I know the whole gay animals thing is kind of hokey sometimes. It's like, oh yeah, my cat's gay because one time he licked another male cat or whatever. But this is actually a legit couple that have been together for 10 years and make a nest every year and even raised a chick together one time, which was awesome.
Because we can do that.
And they've been together for now 10 years, and I don't know if they're actually celebrating because they're penguins and they don't know what's going on, but maybe they put some nice little party hats on them or something.
They were gonna do something, but they were both just so exhausted because, like, the chick is going through a whole thing right now at school. Like, they don't want to get into it and it's gonna be fine. So they just, they sat at home. They watched this documentary on Netflix. Oh, have you seen it? It's about penguins, right? But then this one penguin leaves and comes back. It's incredible. You have to watch it. It's like, we binged it.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
That's a penguin relationship.
Eli, you may be the gayest person on this call right now. I just want you to know that.
It's kind of actually not a great thing that they're gay because they're trying to breed the penguins because they're endangered, and they have, what is it? They have 10 penguin couples at this zoo, and 3 of them are gay couples. So they're like, we need more penguin babies.
So we learned here that Ari is anti-gay.
That's right.
I get it. Can they observe the gay penguins actively recruiting? That's my question, because I feel like
that is a fair question.
That's probably what happened, because they've been together for the longest, and the other penguins saw them and they were like, oh, I guess it's probably okay, so I guess I'll try it too.
Yeah.
It's a phase.
Also, how are the straight penguins supposed to explain the gay penguins to their kids?
Yeah.
Like this.
Well, here's my retort. So they raised a chick together, right? And I'm reading through the story, and the reason that they raised a chick is that they were given an egg that was rejected by its mother. So if straight penguins stopped making babies you wouldn't have to worry about the gay penguins adopting and indoctrinating children.
Boom.
So, yeah. Mic drop.
That poor baby penguin. I wonder
if
how it's doing
now. There's one
now.
message we want to communicate on the Gaytheist Manifesto, and I say this as a host of the show, as the creator of the show, if you will.
Right,
it's
of course.
That gay people only recruit your children because straight people refuse to have abortions. So we're pro-abortion and pro-indoctrination here. I think that's main...
we are not pro-choice. We are enthusiastically pro-abortion.
That's right.
You get it.
So, yeah, that's key.
Thanks for tuning into the Gaytheist Manifesto, brought to you by Audible.com. Go on Audible.
Eli, what's your first story?
Okay, so my first story, and I'm not a sports person, but I was really overjoyed by this. The Cubs won the World Series, and it made so many people so happy. Now, my entire extended family is in Cleveland, and so my extended family was rooting for Cleveland, but just the absolute stories of joy of lifelong fans, of people whose parents and grandparents brought them to games, of this just sort of legacy of hoping and wanting and hoping and wanting, and then finally getting this thing you've hoped for so long, I just thought was absolutely joyful. And I know it's very easy for sort of us who tend to be alt to like shit on sports and be like, nah, the sports ball. But I just genuinely, it was so touching to see so many people so emotional and happy and overjoyed by this achievement.
I legitimately thought the same thing. And I saw, there was the story of this guy who was sitting at his dad's grave watching the game because that was a thing that they did together. Like, I'm getting choked up now thinking about it. God. Just how I really do.
Dude, your dad is dead. He's not watching the sports anymore.
Good news episode, Ari. Good news episode.
It's so hard for me.
Keep it together, motherfucker.
But, well, like, one of the things that I noticed is that so many of the people who were excited about this were so many of the same people who have been so just, like, hurt and exhausted by election stuff. Like, people who have found out, apparently, that, like, close friends and family members of theirs don't give a shit about sexual assault and, you know, things like that. And, like, I'm like, wow, like, they have something to be happy about and celebrate and, like, feel good about. Like, I legitimately think that's awesome. Like, I really don't care about sports, but, like, it makes me happy to see other people that happy, especially, you know, in such a huge way where it's been, like, since, like, you know, the 1900s, you know, the early 1900s since this happened. Like, you know, I think there was a lady who was in her early 90s and she'd had season tickets basically her entire life, and she, like, finally got to live to see this thing. Like, it just, I don't know. I'm 100% with you. Like, I'm not a huge sports fan, and I'm literally, like, anytime I ever be like, oh, sports ball, joking, like, I would never seriously demean people for what they're into, because I know what that feels like as a Star Trek fan. But like, yeah, like, it legitimately made me happy to see so many people happy. So I agree.
Yeah,
I guess I agree too. If that's what we're going with, then sure, it's great.
Yeah, it's a good news episode, Ari. That is what we're going with.
Yeah.
Get your shit together.
So my other story is also from advocate.com, because I get a lot of my news from this site because they're pretty good. So the headline of the article is, in the era of Trump, LGBT people notched 2 huge victories. So, you know, the byline is like, you know, this election season has been a dark time, but quiet accomplishments were made in the midst of it. So I think this is pretty cool. So one of the things is that the National Institute on Minority Health Disparities, which is part of the National Institutes of Health, affirmed that LGBT individuals can now be considered as a minority population and thus prioritized when the institution makes its funding decisions. So, like, that sounds really, like, heady and, like, bureaucracy-like, but, like, I think that's a really big thing, because that means that there's going to be funding from the National Institutes of Health actually going towards LGBT issues now, which is huge, because that's something that we lack so much. I mean, we had mentioned before in the Science and Social Justice episode, we were talking about how hard it is to get funding for these kinds of things when we're trying to study things about LGBT health and, you know, anything really about queer and trans stuff. So I think that's actually huge. It's not just like, oh yeah, this is a thing, you know. So I think that is really cool. And then we also saw
that, but when that stuff gets put into the part of the larger national rhetoric, it means that other programs start to expand their definitions. And, you know, one of the things that I think affects the trans community, just from trans friends who reach out to me, is like, oh my gosh,
Eli, what affects the trans community? Tell us.
Okay, you know, I did the little caveat and everything. You guys said it was a good news episode, so I came in here all positive. I took 6 of my pills, and I was all ready to be positive. And then Ari started attacking me with her microaggressions. Ari started attacking me with their microaggressions, and
nice save.
Now I'm wounded.
See, this is what happens when we get cis people and straight people on the show.
Exactly. Yeah. Someone listening right now is like, why is Eli doing white tears as his running bit throughout the show?
That's really hilarious, given that the next thing I was going to talk about in this episode is the fact, or in this article, is that the American Dialect Society declared the singular they to be the word of the year.
Heyo.
So that's pretty awesome. And of course there was much weeping and gnashing of teeth over that whole thing. And yeah, it was just like all of a sudden people are grammar experts, even though they don't really know the difference between they and they, or there and there. I don't know the difference. Wow. Yeah, trying to make fun of other people for making grammar mistakes, and there's where I go. Except I'm not the one being a grammar Nazi.
It's all part of the plot to make gender illegal.
Yes, I wouldn't hate that.
But it's so, again, good news episode, but I just want to touch on this because, like, to me, that argument is always so crazy because, like, people get to tell you what to call them all the time. Like, you shake someone's hand and they're like, my name's Fart Sniffer Bop Flock. And you got to be like, yo, Fart Sniffer, what's up? But if you're like, my name's Fart Sniffer and I prefer he, people are like, oh, how am I going to remember that? Right. Like, it's just this weird place. And I was talking to someone about this today because they were talking about Professor Guy who thought he was super brave in Canada, who was like, I won't let my students tell me what pronouns to call them because of Chomsky and linguistics. And as someone who's actually studied that, I was like, dude, you're wrong, and Chomsky thinks you're fucking wrong. He uses examples related to pronouns. Like, you're wrong, and the guy who you're citing thinks you're wrong. And we were talking about that, but it's this weird, like, people think that they're gonna sneak transphobia in through grammar Nazis. Like we don't know the motivation of that. Like, what they imagine is that they'll be able to present this caricature in their mind of someone who really isn't transphobic. They just love the English language. Like, there's an English teacher just standing on the hill strewn with bodies. The they is plural.
Indeed.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. Like, although I do have to say, there was one time where somebody asked me to call them a thing, and I flat out refused. So we're sitting in the basement at a friend's house. It was a friend I used to play music with, and some guy walks down. It's one of his, like, 7 roommates, because they had this really super huge, nice house, but there were, like, 7 roommates, so it was still not super expensive. So we're sitting in the basement just talking about music, and this guy comes down and he's like, hey, what's up? And, like, you know, we do the introduction thing, and he's like, yeah, they call me Dirty D. And I was like, oh, okay, what's the D stand for? And he's like, Daniel. I was like, I'm gonna call you Daniel.
and he was like, no, you call me Dirty D. Was he insistent on this point?
No. I just said I'm gonna call you Daniel, and he was like,
in my head, I wanted him so badly to get, like, really tone policey with you about his identity as Dirty D.
Right.
It's like, excuse me, I'm really tired of your Dirty D erasure.
Right. No,
he was
just like,
in this hostile environment.
He was like, that's cool. And I mean, it was like some random person that
was being ridiculous.
I literally had that 30-second interaction with, and will probably never see him again for the rest of my life. So, like, I'm sure on some level, even though the fact that he is cool with being called Dirty D, I think probably gives us some clues as to the kind of person he is. Maybe that's super horrible and judgy of me. I don't know. But
yes, it is.
I think there was also probably some level where he recognized that, like, yeah, we're going to interact for 30 seconds and probably never going to see each other again. So it's probably just worth let's just do the polite introduction thing, and then I'll go ahead and forget you exist a minute from now. Which is
that's my same fucking strategy for my pronouns.
Turns out that Dirty D is one of your, like, #1 Patreon supporters, and he very quietly unsubscribes from the show. A single tear running down his neck-bearded cheek. As In the Arms of the Angels plays in the background.
Right. Oh, that's the worst.
And now, thanks to you, Dirty D's not giving us money, and now we have to start doing ads for Loot Crate. Thanks, Callie.
LootCrate.com/Gaytheist Manifesto. Do you not have some stuff? You should get some. It's fun. Do it. Yeah.
Ari, what's your next article?
Oh, we're back to that again, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
You gotta keep the show moving along here. That's what I do as host.
Let's keep it moving. So, from The Friendly Atheist, which is, you know, the only atheist news source that you need in your life, Puerto Rican gubernatorial, which is a wonderful word, candidate Alexandra Lugaro proudly proclaims her atheism in new video. So there's this woman named Alexandra Lugaro who's running for governor in Puerto Rico, and apparently she's one of the, like, top candidates. And she was in an interview with a journalist and said she didn't believe in God. And Puerto Rico is 97% Christian, so people freaked out.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I know, generally speaking, South America is pretty religious, you know, just as North America is. I figured that would be that's kind of impressive.
Yeah, and they put she ended up putting a video where she clarified her statements and basically not backing down at all and saying why she believes that it's okay for an atheist and important for an atheist to be in the government, and why she believes in separation of church and state. And they put a translation of it up on Friendly Atheist. let me get to a good point here. She talks a bit about how she's against fundamentalism, and she says fundamentalism is a political tool. Let me scroll down. This is really long.
It's funny though, like that she has to do a thing saying like, yes, it is, I am an atheist. Like a Jew would never do that. Can you imagine a political video you have to put on YouTube? Like, hi, my name's Eli, and it turns out, yes, I am a Jew. But wait. Don't click away just yet. Let me explain why it's okay for me to be in government.
Right.
It turns out I am an octoroon, but I want you to forgive me for it.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate this because I've been kind of scrolling through looking at this statement too. And like, obviously when you think like, oh, she posted a video to clarify her statements, like obviously in like, you know, in the US, that means that they post a video saying that I didn't really say what you heard me say because it's super unpopular and I'm going to have to change everything that I'm about now because I figured out that you don't like it. And that's totally not what she did. You know, it very much reads to me like, okay, like if this is a thing we got to talk about, we got to talk about it. I don't like fundamentalism, but like there's some real shit going on here. Like Puerto Rico's $70 million in debt. We have unemployment problems and, you know, people being denied rights. And, you know, these are the issues that we should be focusing on in the election. But then she goes through and clarifies, like, yes, I am an atheist and separation of church and state and all that. And I think that's super admirable. Like, it sucks that, you know, I mean, I know in the U.S., if she had done that, she would probably almost immediately lose her election, depending on, you know, what she was running for. Obviously, I mean, was it a governor. Yeah, I think that would probably ruin a governor in the U.S. saying something like that. So, like, I got mad respect.
Yeah, she really has some chutzpah, if you want to use that word. She talks about
not your word.
Eli, can we use that word? Is it okay for us to use that word?
Okay.
No, that's my word. That's my
she
word.
has some bulls. How about that?
What?
How about some bulls? Could she have some bulls?
No, that sounded Jewish.
She has ovaries. Maybe she has ovaries.
Yeah, she really showed some ovaries.
Tired of your ovary
She
eraser.
talks about humanism and how she believes that, she says, my belief is to do good. I don't think that goodness comes from believing in a religion, from prayers that we're taught and we memorize without really believing. I think in Puerto Rico, there are many who live closeted without daring to accept who they are because society itself has... I guess she trailed off there. There are so many taboos about so many things. People don't dare say that they're homosexual. They don't dare say if they believe whatever they believe. They don't dare speak out about their stances clearly because society condemns them. And she talks about why that is related to separation of church and state because, you know, if we live in a secular environment, people can be more free to express themselves, which is something that she believes in a lot, being an atheist and a secular humanist. And don't worry, she's going to represent the Christians, the Muslims, the Jews, and the atheists.
But the Hindus are out of luck, I guess.
Fuck you,
That's
Mormons.
it, only those ones.
Yeah.
That's how the video ended. It was actually just double birding and being like, fuck you, Mormons. Fuck you. And then the video ends.
All right, Eli, what's your last story?
My last story, this is actually really, really cool. So I will admit I fall for those like, Cure for Cancer is here today articles constantly. It is the blind spot for me of my internet cruising. If it comes from naturalgreenmommy.com, I'm going to click on it and share it way before I ever Google or Snopes it. But this appears to actually be real. The artificial pancreas is really, really close to being commercially available, which means that people with type 1 diabetes are going to stop going through incredibly expensive, invasive, and uncomfortable procedures because they'll be able to just have an artificial pancreas instead of having to constantly, give themselves shots and insulin and prick their fingers and stuff like that. And having some type 1 diabetic people in my life, this made me really, really happy to hear about.
Or they could just pray to Jesus.
Right.
Right. Or get some magic Mormon oil rubbed on their foreheads.
Right. Or buy a salt lamp, per the journey that I've done on lately.
Callie's really into
get-
salt lamps lately.
I know. I saw the post.
This is
Callie, here's
the
the
most
thing.
ridiculous
I talk
thing.
about this all the time. All right, the woo is going to be there, and if you want it, they give better massages. They've got cooler crystals, and sometimes you just got to take a deep breath, buy the salt lamp, and just not listen to anything they say while you're exchanging the funds. Just don't listen to anything that goes on.
That's fair.
And you can probably chip some of it off and use it in your cooking. That's pretty cool.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, I was talking to my sister about it, and she said one of her friends had one, and like everyone was supposed to lick it as they walked by it, which I think is kind of weird. But I guess
To be
that was
fair,
the thing.
most of your sister's friends are deer.
It took me a second. That's good. So yeah, artificial pancreas. Like one of the things that I think is cool is it apparently has a continuous glucose monitor, so it actually decides like how much insulin and how much glucagon, is that how you say it? Like how much you're supposed to get.
Science
so it's
words.
like, yeah, science words. It's got science words and science words, and
But it's really,
Yeah.
I mean, it is a huge leap forward for type 1 diabetics as far as, to use the word normalcy when it comes to going about your life goes. And it's just really incredible to see this so clearly a future technology come to fruition in this way. I'm constantly have present shock, as the term is. Like, I'm just constantly surprised how in the future I am that we're just like, yeah, we got a robot now, cure for diabetes. Bye.
yeah.
Like that scientist invented that and went home and watched the Bachelorette season premiere. Was just like, oh, I like that one. That's the one I'm going to root for. Give him a rose. Just live in this very insane dichotomous culture.
Yes,
Well,
that's
diabetes is all eradicated now. I think now it's time we focus on Lyme disease, right, Eli?
Oh, yeah. And hey, listen, here's the thing. I can fuck away your Lyme disease, and I have now been to 2 skeptics conferences, and nobody has had sex with me. Let me give you a quick pitch. Listen, this is brought to you by Blue Apron, Audible.com, and having sex with me to get rid of your Lyme disease. 1, my penis is very small, so it's really only a minor inconvenience. 2,
Non-invasive surgery.
Non-invasive surgery. 2, I finish very quickly. Not talking about a lot of your time here. You got 5 minutes in between speeches. You want to go see Callie after something else? I will not make you late for Lawrence Krauss. That's my point. My point is here, there's lots of stuff. Go to icanfuckawayyourlymedisease.com/gaytheist to sign up for 5 free meals.
Callie's like, what?
My name's Callie. I don't have time to listen to podcasts.
Yeah, I don't really. So I mean, I still thought it was funny. I guess there's a reference there that I'm not getting. That's fine.
It's an ads podcast.
The important thing is that Eli can fuck away Lyme disease.
That's the key to remember. And Jeremiah will find that out at ReasonCon.
Oh, yes, he will.
The somewhat hard way.
the
Hard
hard
way.
way.
I get nervous way.
Oh, God. Jeremiah hates you so much.
I know.
He's going to fight you
All right.
at ReasonCon.
I know.
All right.
He'll learn the long and painful journey that so many people who have fought me learned, which is that my skin and body is so soft that it's like punching into a giant beanbag. Eventually, people just get tired and bored. They decide to sit on me and watch the wall.
Okay, well, I think that's a good segue. We're gonna take
Somehow.
We're gonna yeah, somehow. But it has to be is what it really comes down to. Next segment we're gonna talk about good news. You posted a thing on Facebook like we always do for good news episodes and ask people to share their good news so we can have fun and share good news with everybody. So that's coming up on the Gay Theist Manifesto right after this.
I'm Dustin.
And I'm Wesley.
We host the Atheist Nomads podcast.
We're godless geeks who take a skeptical look at
Politics, religion, science, technology, and history.
We also interview leaders in the atheist, skeptic, and humanist community.
Check us out at atheistnomads.com.
That's atheistnomads.com.
All right, friends, before we jump back into the show, it's time to thank our patrons. Shout out this week to Anissa and Michael, and for Matt for increasing his pledge. thank you all so much for contributing to the show financially and for believing in us enough to support our mission to smuggle penises into women's restrooms and to force every American into their very own mandatory gay marriage. To find out more, head over to patreon.com/thegaytheistmanifesto. Thank you. And welcome back to the show. Last segment of the show where we celebrate some good news from some of our friends here, and I am really stoked that this is supposed to be the episode that's like, fuck the election, we're all going to be happy, we're all going to laugh for a minute, and this is by far the biggest response that I've ever gotten asking people for good news. So I'm really excited about this. So we're just going to kind of do rapid fire. If anybody wants to do commentary, that's totally fine. So I'm going to start. We had an anonymous contributor. Somebody reached out on Facebook, didn't want me to use her name, saying that my girlfriend started HRT and
I don't know what that is. Doesn't count. And next.
Hormone replacement therapy, you asshole.
And you call yourself an ally. You don't even know the basic terminology.
You said literally we were supposed to shit on these, right? Isn't that the game? They list things that are good and then I make fun of them.
No, that's actually not the game at all.
That is not
Eli.
the point of this episode. All right, thanks for tuning in as co-host.
So my girlfriend started HRT and coming out to people, and since she started, she's been smiling and happy, and I'm crying typing this, and I'm just so proud and happy for her. And I remember what that was like, so I am right there with you.
Yay for an anonymous person's girlfriend. Yay.
Ari, go next.
Ingrid, who is a friend of the show, said, I got an orchiectomy, and I didn't know what that was, so I looked it up, and that's where you get your balls taken off.
Yes, so some opt to go with that instead of sex reassignment surgery or other options. So yay, happiness.
Yay.
I am really looking forward to getting rid of mine. So yeah. Eli.
My husband has gained a further love of science, and my little girl is doing quite well in her autism school. Lauren is communicating even more.
I didn't know you had a husband, Eli. Or a kid.
That's from Tara Celeste.
First names only. God.
That's from Tara.
Yeah, Tara.
So yeah, that's awesome. I'm really glad for that. Joseph says the military is deploying training teams starting this month in order to give all military leadership the much needed training on the incorporation of transgender personnel, much in the same way they did for in 2011 for the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which that's super awesome. I know one person in particular who's a friend of mine who is trans and is in the military, and I know this was a big thing for her, and I'm really excited that things are looking up. So you know who you are, person that I'm talking about. I won't name names, but I love you. So yeah, Ari, go next.
This one it's amusing that this is good news.
It's silver linings. Silver linings.
Silver linings, that's right. Rex said, I broke both my arms, and I've been able to spend all my time with my aging chihuahua. Happy face.
So like really awful, but like you get to spend time with your dog, and who doesn't like spending time with their dog?
Yeah, I mean, you get to stay home, probably eat whatever you want, watch TV all day, cuddle with your pupper. Sounds great.
Yeah. So I'm not
and your arms are kind of useless right now, which sucks, but yay for puppies.
Apparently what I've gathered from some of Rex's posts is that one arm is functional, sort of. And the other isn't. So it's like, yeah, I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, like really sorry that you broke your arm, but really glad that you have time with your dog. So Eli.
Nat says, I'm happy and very little sucks right now. Smiley face. That's all I can hope for.
Like, I mean, what else can you say?
Sure.
Ange says, my insurance is finally picking up trans benefits next year. Time to start looking for a surgeon, which is, oh my God, that's the position that I'm in. Although I more found out that my work isn't losing trans benefits. But yeah, so I was able to really look and find the surgeon that I wanted to go to and set up a consultation. So like, I'm right there too. And like, holy crap, that's very exciting.
Leonidas said, I am celebrating my last birthday pre-op next Saturday. There's so many good surgery things happening.
I know!
It's like surgery a-go-go up in here.
Right. and this is a person, if anyone remembers the episode where we talked about kind of the real story behind the surgeries that trans people get and what they actually do for us and why they're important. He was one of the folks that was on that talking about phalloplasty. So if you don't remember that episode, that's a good thing.
That's where they make you a peeper.
Yes, building a pole as opposed to digging a hole, as the other person on the episode put it. So
Stephanie says, I found a place that sells chips. Fuck you, Stephanie. All places sell chips. I've never been to a store that doesn't sell chips. This doesn't count. Disqualified.
Well, here's the thing. I was wondering if she maybe was talking about, like,
French
she found a
fries?
place that sells French fries but calls them chips.
Well, you're wrong, because lots of places sell French fries. Still disqualified, Stephanie. Still disqualified. No good news episode for you.
Fair enough.
And the award for the most eyebrow-raising good news goes to Stephanie.
And Wendy says, I'm having a baby a year after I had a miscarriage also, so me and my fiance are so happy, and that's amazing. I am still kind of undecided as to whether or not I want to do the kid thing, but I know how heartbreaking it can be to not be able to do it if it's a thing that you want to do, because I've seen a lot of people go through that. So yay, very happy, Wendy.
Ooh. George said, my brother whom, with an M, whom I hadn't seen in almost a decade, and with whom, oh, so fancy, with whom my last encounter had ended badly, surprised my family with a visit yesterday, and hilariously good times ensued. Aww. My favorite part was the use of whom.
That's great.
Yeah, it's good.
Kathy says, my mom is coming home today from the hospital after emergency surgery. So get better, Kathy's mom.
Yes,
Do
very
it.
much so.
Do it.
And
Play this for her. Kathy's mom, look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Get better.
Eli cares about you.
Yes, Eli cares. So Stephanie says, I've lost over 100 pounds and still going. Much easier to walk. Stephanie is someone who I work with, and she recently had the same weight loss surgery that I'm about to have, and she's been doing fantastic, and I'm very, very happy for her. And it's been super, super helpful and inspirational to me to be able to talk to her about what she's going through, really, really sort of alleviate some of my anxiety, because this will be the first time I've literally ever had surgery of any kind, even including like minor surgeries. So I'm like super, super nervous. And yeah, so very, very happy for Stephanie.
I don't get this one. Apparently Eli does because of the comment that he left. Danny said Sombra is finally coming to Overwatch and a new awesome Genji skin. I'm assuming that's Vidya Games things.
Well, they added a character to a video game.
It's Overwatch.
But I don't know why you're happy about it, Danny, because you know that's going to fuck up the meta. Some asshole's going to figure out that this one can jump through walls or it can fucking pop a corner or something like that. And I'm going to be sitting there, some 19-year-old, some 11-year-old is going to jump up and down on top of my face for the next 3 weeks while I figure out how to counter Sombra. What are you doing, Danny? What are you doing? Disqualified. Not allowed on the Good News episode.
I think Eli has some feelings about that whole thing.
Again, League of Legends, Overwatch.
Eli, it's your turn.
Oh, right. Sorry. Jordan says, I might have a partner who I am head over heels for.
Might.
And, that's confusing to me. Disqualified. And I'm inspired by this election to run for state representative in 2018. I'll be old enough to run, and it'll be a little hard, I'm sure, but it's something I'd love to do to help represent LGBTQ plus folk and people with autism. My district is Texas House District. My district is Texas House District 35 if you want to look it up. It's weird and rural.
And hooray for that. I've honestly given some thought to the idea of running for some like meaningless local office, or even like way down the line, like state representative or something like that. Cause I had the chance to talk with a couple of Ohio State lawmakers that were pretty like inspirational and awesome. And like, I don't know that I could handle that. So like, I've got at least a certain level of respect for anyone who's like willing to actually take all that on. So yeah.
Whatever, I'm sure whoever this Jordan person is will be corrupt in a year.
Right, because that's always what happens.
All that big pharma money.
No, Jordan, if you're listening, I believe in you.
I don't though, because I'm the worst.
Right, yeah, you're a horrible person. That's not surprising. Mm-hmm. So Dell, who was a guest on the last episode about the election fatigue and everything, I was able to bring home my new puppy a week early, and she's the sweetest little cuddle bug ever. My anxiety had been absolutely sky high for the past 2 months, but I'm coping so much better now that I have little Tabitha with me. And on the Facebook post, she added a picture of her new puppy, and my God, I mean, I'm a sucker for I'm a sucker for cute puppies, anyways. But yeah, so.
John said, I am completely out to the world as gay and loving it. Also, I get to be a guest writer for the Gaytheist Manifesto blog. And this is the first time I've heard of this. Callie, what's going on with this?
Oh, getting edged out. First she starts a show with Steve, and now you're getting edged out of the Gaytheist Manifesto blog. Oh, someone... now I'm a co-host on this show.
So often. I know, it's all just to replace me. Now I know what I'm going to talk about in therapy tomorrow.
There you go.
Yeah, Ari, so you remember how I had you on an episode secretly as an interview to make sure that you would be a good co-host?
Yes, which I found out later.
That has absolutely nothing to do with the reason that Eli's on the show tonight.
Oh, it began.
I'm sorry, Ari.
Our new show's called What About Me? And it really deals with white guy problems. We dig deep. We dig deep. Because sometimes at my Planet Fitness, like, I'll be near a woman and I can tell she's nervous, and that makes me feel weird. We'll go into it next week. Don't worry,
Eli Bosnick and Jeremiah Traeger.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Oh my God,
but John
he'd cream himself if he got to do a show with you.
If you
but
guys
also, he's going to fight you at ReasonCon.
That's
right.
Fair.
If you guys remember the Hope After Faith episode, John is the same John from that episode, and he's finally like 100% out to everyone and really stoked. And I went and looked at his blog, and he's really good at writing, so I added him as a guest contributor to the blog. So that's all there is.
He'll probably write more posts than I do. Heyo.
Me too, honestly.
Burn.
But yeah, it's totally fine. So, Eli, I believe it was your turn next.
All right. Maz says, I got hired at a job that pays more than my previous job, is more queer-friendly, and works better with my schedule. And I'm finally 20.
Thanks for making me feel old, Maz. Appreciate that.
It gets easier, Maz. Trust me. 20. The first 19 are the hardest.
Yeah, I'm turning 32 at the end of this month, so... Blah. So Ben says, a local nano brewery wants my chili American wheat beer. Prospect of changing career more likely. I mean, honestly, I think most beer is gross. But again, it's like the sports thing, right? I don't like beer, but if beer is a thing that people enjoy and are into, I'm 100% for it. So yeah, good news, Ben.
Christopher said, the assisted living home I work for won the 2016 Best of the Best for Senior Living here in Fort Smith. Thanks for not killing people, Christopher.
Exactly. I really want to do an episode about elders and like the queer and trans community, because I feel like they're forgotten
that's
almost more than anyone else.
Any. There are no trans and gay old people, Callie. It's a young person's fad.
Thanks for illustrating the need for the episode.
I mean, you get over it after a certain point, I imagine. Like,
right.
It's like a chocolate allergy.
Right, you grow out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Kristen says, I finally managed to do a complete toes to bar in my CrossFit class. It took 4 weeks of practice, and that's incredible.
I don't know what that means, but I know what CrossFit is, and I'm impressed that she has done anything in CrossFit. So.
Yeah, and the fact that you did a CrossFit class and you're not like, I'm very badly hurt right now. It's amazing. You did an incredible thing.
Yes, absolutely. Ella says, I currently have a baby owl sitting on my shoulder. It makes everything better. And someone down thread asked for a picture, which she gloriously provided. And I'm just saying, if you're not friends with me on Facebook, you need to be friends with me on Facebook so you can look at this post, because a baby owl sitting on her shoulder is the cutest damn thing. Oh my God.
I don't think I want to look at it, because I'll probably want to find an owl and then bite its head.
Oh, well, that went a place I didn't expect.
I think I saw an article about that. Like, you know how it's like, I'm so cute, you're so cute, I could eat you up. Apparently that's like a thing where when you see a cute thing, you want to put it in your mouth. And I didn't read the article, but now I want to.
Huh. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Stop kink shaming Ari.
All right, Ari, you get the really long one.
Oh dear. Okay, this is from Matthew, our friend from the Imaginary Friends show. Here we go. I am having pizza this week with an old flame I recently got the opportunity to reestablish a friendship with that I thought might have been lost forever. There is nothing as wonderful as a gorgeous woman stuffing her face in front of you. I hope she gets pizza sauce on her chin.
It's so hot when that happens.
I get it.
He's a feeder. As of writing, I am lying on mattress with a mildly sore back, so I am appreciating the moments I have had where I am not in pain without any self-flagellation. Doesn't self-flagellation sound onomatopoeic?
Too much, Matthew. Too much, Matthew.
It doesn't feel solid enough a word to mean what it means. Flagellate sounds like it should mean to leave a blob of something you shouldn't somewhere.
Oh my God, Matthew, stop it.
Okay, there's still more. There's much more. I have a light exam block left, but I've completed all the written components of my first year of tertiary education. I haven't finished a year of schooling since grade 11 in 2006, after which I got kicked out of high school. I struggled with depression and made some odd choices. One day I put a chair on my back and pretended to be a turtle. I refused to answer to any name other than Myrtle the Turtle, Mr. Turtleton, Myrtle Turtle Turtleton, or the Great Wise Turtle of Albany Creek. My math teacher did not see the relevance, so it feels odd to complete a level of formal schooling again and to even say I've done well and haven't gotten distracted thinking of ways to fit Samuel L. Jackson and Yoda fighting Sith into my literature critical readings this time. It's small compared to how excited I am about my fetishized pizza date, but it confirms to myself that I have grown, even if the spirit of the Great Wise Turtle still lives on in me. That was beautiful.
Jesus.
And I just want to point out that, and we normally only do first names to protect privacy, but this is Matthew Lind. He's pretty out there, in a few different ways. He's probably the only person that I would let get away with something this long, because that's just brilliant. So yeah, let's move on.
Sarah says, I have 2 kitties on my lap. You get it, Matthew? I have 2 kitties on my lap. A single goddamn sentence, you monster.
Yeah. That's like 7 words.
7 words.
Real excited for Sarah.
That's how you do it.
I wonder what her kitties are like. I would love to see a picture of those kitties. I don't resent Sarah for the small novel she wrote me.
Which, again, there are pictures if you're friends with me on Facebook. So Richard says, I got my ticket to ReasonCon 3, and now I just need to work for a while to pay for transportation and lodging. Listen,
Yay!
You're going to hear me talk about ReasonCon 3 a lot on this show because ReasonCon is my favorite thing ever. Go back and listen to, I think it was episode 5 or 6 maybe, the ReasonCon wrap-up episode. There's lots of crying because it's me, but there's just lots of good stuff. It's an amazing thing. Tickets are on sale now, reasonnc.org, I think, or reasonnc.com. It's one of those things.
Just Google it. You'll find it.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, tickets are on sale. You need to go. It's going to be an amazing conference. Lawrence Krauss, me, Matt Dillahunty.
All the important people.
Right, exactly. Aaron Ra, a couple other people.
God Awful Movies live. God Awful Movies live.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Don't
so
you dare list Aaron Ra in front of me. Aaron Ra. Looks like a wizard who got kicked out of a biker gang. Don't you dare list him in front of me.
Oh, dear.
All right.
Here comes the drama.
Yeah.
Ryan said, I only have to get Y and Z down, and I will have memorized all the lyrics to Alphabet Aerobics.
Which, I'm going to put a link to Alphabet Aerobics.
Thing where you do aerobics and you make letters with your body? Is that what that is?
No. It's a rap that God, what's his name? Daniel Radcliffe did on one of the late night shows. It's
now I have
amazing.
To go see this.
And yes, and I'm going to put a link to it in the show description because I think it's amazing and fantastic that anyone has the memory capacity to do all of this. So yeah, moving on.
All right. So anonymous person said, I came out to my friend as agender for the first time today. I had told no one before, and even though she's a conservative person, she and I understand each other a lot better now, and all in all, it was a positive experience. I have a question. What is agender?
Basically just
you
without
call
gender.
yourself an ally.
Yeah. Ally fails.
I'm sorry for asking questions. I apologize. Apologize for trying to make
You should know this already, okay?
All right, you know what? I'm just going to Google it. And now I know what it is. Okay.
And now you have a full and complete understanding and can therefore condescend to others as to what it's about.
How could you guys not know? I'm tired of your agender erasure.
But yeah, this particular anonymous person is a person I've spent a lot of time talking with on Facebook, and I'm very, very happy for them and this whole situation. Very good stuff. Amy says, got promoted at work, first full-time job in 2 years. Happy about that, and happy about my beautiful girlfriend and I being together 3 whole months. Woo! Exclamation point. Which is like, yes, that's awesome stuff. And this is really hard to read when you keep clicking around in the document and your name is covering the words in the damn sentence. So it's fine. Thanks. Yeah. Which obviously means you're going to do it more. It's great. Thanks.
Yolanda said, Kai is getting on a plane in a few hours to go to Thailand for his top surgery. He is pretty stoked about it.
Yes.
More surgeries. More surgeries.
And if anyone remembers the story of the Australian mother who posted a corrected birth notice in the newspaper, that whole thing that was going viral, Yolanda was the person that did that, and I'm very, very happy to call her a friend. Yes,
Small
very, very happy to
world.
call her a friend, and yeah, it's super, super exciting.
Michelle says leaf color has hit its peak here. It's beautiful.
And can I just be like that super... Like, I feel like this is on the same level as pumpkin spice everything, but like I really do think it's super pretty when the leaves change outside. I'm just...
You're the only one, apparently, who thinks that. Because is it like a cool thing to hate on leaf color changing now?
I don't know. I feel like it's just one of those things that like people take pleasure in simple things, which automatically mean there's a whole group of people that take pleasure in calling people names and making fun of them for being into those simple things. I think that's really what it comes down to. Yeah. So Jenna is going to ReasonCon. Going to ReasonCon has turned into a reality. It will be my first atheist convention, and holy shit, you could not have picked a better first convention.
Yeah, I haven't.
Yes.
This is my first ReasonCon as well, but I hear it's a fantastic environment, and finding that community I think is really going to be phenomenal. I know so many people who have told me like ReasonCon really cemented a lot of the lifelong friendships that I have, and so that's really wonderful to hear.
I'm sure it's going to fail, though, because of the harassment policy.
Oh, do we have one of those this year? I feel
I'm
like
sure they
because
do.
I'm
We'll
coming, they
see.
should install a special one. Like, go
No
over.
licking Eli.
Andrew can negotiate.
Without
You can lick me
consent.
if you want to. You can lick me without consent. We can work out some rules and a safe word. I'm into it.
Mary said, my new pain meds are working. Which is awesome.
Yay! And that's something awesome. Mary posts a lot about dealing with chronic pain, and I'm very, very happy that they found something that works for them. So very happy about that.
Mig said, switch to Geico. No, having some quality time with my kiddo. Been working out of town a lot lately.
Good stuff. Also, good open. Switch to Geico. I mean, yeah.
So
awesome.
you didn't really switch to Geico and you lied? Is that what's happening?
I know, the worst.
Oh, people tweet it.
Absolute
Tweet
worst.
it. Tweet it, Mig. Tweet it, Mig. At Mig.
At Mig.
At Mig.
Some poor Mig is going to get a flood of hate mail.
Good, good.
Jordan says, I'm getting transferred to my preferred office at work this week. Which, yeah. Those of us who still have day jobs.
Oh.
Ari, do you not have a
Bitter.
job?
I do.
Oh, you have a job.
I do have a job.
Okay.
I'm
That was a
not
dig
one
at
of
those of
welfare
us. Yeah, that was a dig at those of
people.
us on the call who don't have a day job anymore.
Oh, yeah.
actually have-
Well,
yeah.
sorry, I'm really super great at what I do.
You should apologize. People are
This
suffering.
episode brought to you by Blue Apron.
Moving on.
Up. Yolanda again. Southeast Queensland
Again,
in
we give
Australia.
people two?
That's
Yeah,
right.
if they want. There can be more than one good thing going on in a person's life at any given time.
That's fine. That's fine. Again.
Southeast Queensland in Australia is currently under attack. Oh no. Tens of millions of caper white butterflies are on their migration and they're everywhere. It's brill, which I guess is Australian slang for brilliant.
Which
brill.
I just love that. I love that.
Matthew said wedding tattoos.
Which again, you gotta just friend request me on Facebook. They're pretty cool. Matthew, if you remember, Matthew was a person who was on the queer relationships episode. He just got married to his husband, and his tattoos are cool, and they're a very cute couple, and I love them dearly.
Gross.
Brienne says, after 2 years of 4 doctors, tests, meds, and treatments for crazy system problems and all of the ugly side effects it brought with it, this week my doctor finally gave me the all clear that my numbers are in balance and that I can try for a baby when we're ready. The answer used to be a lot of laughing and crying followed by a hard no. I'm relaxed and happy for the first time in 2 years. Awesome. Just awesome. Very, very happy for you.
Pete said, I am 100% cancer free. I never had it to begin with, but I'm glad that streak is still going.
And Pete is the worst kind of person. Moving on.
Disqualified. I'm just saying a little bit of editing here would have been fine, Callie. Like just a couple of people would have gotten cut out of here. Stephanie says, I'm going to Philadelphia on Thursday.
Like, Philly's a cool town. I'm into it.
Sure.
Nick says,
Isn't that where they make the cream cheese?
Yes, that is.
I like
Absolutely. Nick says, only 2 weeks left until Pokemon Sun, Moon, and Final Fantasy 15 release.
Fuck
Nerd.
yes, Nick.
AKA
Nerd.
only 2 weeks until Zach spends money on stuff he shouldn't be spending money on.
Oh, I'm so excited for Final Fantasy 15. It looks like it has the possibility to be so fantastic.
Nerd.
So
Womp
good.
womp.
Nerd.
And Pokemon Sun and Moon's going to be amazing because Snorlax finally wakes up with his super move.
Nerd.
Callie's a hater.
Nerd. Moving on.
Justin says, I've got Thursday off work with my girl and we're going out. Smiley face.
Heyo.
You went out of order, Eli.
Whatever.
Ari, you go next.
No, he
because
didn't.
Eli's the worst.
Oh, wait. I actually forgot whose turn it was.
It's my
Yeah,
turn. Celeb says, Caleb says. Lost the ability to read.
It's fine. Fine, you started it. Go. Just go.
Caleb
Jerk.
says, I got drunk at a bar. Fantastic news. Thanks so much, Caleb. And civilly discussed theology and politics with a complete stranger. We were both genuinely listened to each other's thoughts and concerns. That definitely made my weekend, although the hangover wasn't nearly as fun.
Lots of former guests of the show. Caleb was in the Christian Conversation episode. He is a Christian. He's also a great guy. I love him dearly. James says, I've spent every day of...
Boo, Christian.
Right.
Boo. Have a
James says,
conversation with me. I'll show you what it's like to be civil.
James says, I've spent every day of the past 2 weeks with someone very special, which is awesome. I've actually got to spend some real time with Celeste lately since I haven't been traveling, so that's very happy. Ari, do the next one since Eli's a jerk.
Anna said, today I fell in love with a beautiful pair of Doc Martens Chelsea boots, and I realized that I can afford them. Also, I just got a job in my dream industry.
And I'm not sure which of those two things is more worth celebrating.
Yeah. Bury the lead.
Apparently the first one, because it was mentioned first.
Fair point. Fair point. Jim says, no matter what happens on Tuesday, Ted Cruz will not be the president. So,
Oh, no.
I mean, yeah,
That's true.
That is
Don't tell Spooner.
is actually true.
Spooner's still going to vote for Ted Cruz. Don't worry, guys. Is it my turn? I forgot.
Yes, your turn.
Yes.
Go.
Okay. Jeff said, yes, that's how you say that. I don't remember seeing a single anti-LGBTQ post on my Facebook feed all week. In southern Indiana, that is truly saying something.
Like, hooray for lack of bigotry.
Jen says, we got a kidney. Husband received a kidney transplant on Wednesday, and it's not rejecting. That's wonderful.
Yes,
oh my
gosh. That is very awesome. That's been quite a journey for them. I've been following it on Facebook, so very, very excited for them. Becky says, my son's high school marching band just placed 20th out of 56 in this weekend in the Bands of America competition in Indianapolis. We are so proud of these dedicated, talented kids and the hardworking staff volunteers, and also the parents who put up with that, because my mom was one of those people, and I understand that is not the funnest thing in the world.
Were you in marching band?
No, I played sports. So I had my mom had to deal with all of that and all the money for the equipment, and
I made it like 20 minutes into marching band, and then they started to teach us all the salutes and stuff, and I was like, last time everyone did salutes around Jews, it ended up with us all loaded into ovens. No thanks. Poof.
Good news
I'm outta here.
Eli. Good news.
Yeah, the Holocaust is good news.
Oh, I'm so excited. Wait, what? I was so ready to read the next one, and then all of a sudden the pro-Holocaust rhetoric.
Yeah, Ari,
right.
you go ahead. You got this.
All right. This one is from my little brother Theo, who was on the bonus good news episode we did after Orlando. So I'm very happy that I get to read this. He said, I started T, which is testosterone. And he turned 18 in October and just started testosterone like 2 days ago. I am so happy for him. I love you, Theo. You are my weird, annoying little brother, and you don't listen to this show, but I still love you. A little bit.
Hooray for second puberty.
That's right. Oh, he's probably going to get even more weird and annoying.
Say that soon after first puberty, too.
Bunch it all up. Kayla says, my new endocrinologist at the VA is competent in healthcare for trans people and seems like a genuinely nice guy that cares for his patients. Also, I started a new relationship with someone who I've been crushing on for a long time.
Yes. Kayla used to be my roommate, and I used to hear lots of stories about all of the terrible things that she had to deal with at the VA. So I'm very, very excited that
it's Tetris Kayla.
Yes, Tetris Kayla. Yes. She is.
There are multiple Kaylas in Callie's life, and this is Tetris Kayla.
Yes. She is outrageously ridiculous. Like, used to be top 50 in the world at Tetris. So Matt said I had a great
challenge
annual.
you, Kayla.
You're gonna lose.
I mean,
I'm not
it's
very
fine.
good at Tetris. It'll just be funny.
Matt said I had a great annual review at work and will be getting a nice bump in salary for next year. Hooray for more money. Hopefully I'll be getting one of those at the end of the year too.
Right after we start partnering with Loot Crate.
LootCrate.com.
Courtesy of Blue Apron.
Ba-doop, boop, ba-doop, boop, ba-doop, boop, ba-doop, boop. Oh, it's me. Okay. Lauren, or maybe Oren,
It's
according
Lauren.
to what's in the Google document.
I just fail at copy paste. It's Lauren.
On the way to visit some good friends, including a very sweet dog, and spend the week camping and hiking.
And I'm sure you're more excited about the dog because dogs are always better than people.
It's true. JJ says, I get to have Christmas with my chosen family this year, which is amazing because I'm an orphan and Christmas is usually really tough for me. But this year, I will not wake up alone on Christmas. I will wake up surrounded by love. That's really wonderful to hear.
That's so cool. I
know Dem feels
like
so
it's
good.
obviously it's terrible that thing exists in the first place, but I'm so glad that you found somebody. That's so awesome. That's we're gonna do a live Thanksgiving show again. By the way, I don't know if we've talked about that on the show. I should probably promote those things, given that I'm the host of the podcast and all of that. But we are gonna do a Thanksgiving live show again this year on Thanksgiving. Not exactly sure what time yet, but just to let you know, if you don't have a place to hang out for Thanksgiving, come hang out with us. We'll announce the time and stuff. Probably
you
in the
won't
next
want to miss
episode.
it because I will probably drink a whole bottle of wine during the broadcast.
Oh my god, we should totally drunk cast. Okay,
Heyo.
yeah, that's happening. Okay,
I mean, last year what I did was drink a whole bottle of wine and listen to the live show, so it's going to be the same thing.
no, it's not going to be the same thing because we're going to get drunk Ari on a microphone.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that.
And I'll be all full of nut loaf.
Oh, we do nut loaf for Thanksgiving too.
Yay!
Wow,
we have
We're superior.
We have a vegetarian Thanksgiving at my house in Cleveland, and we always have a nut loaf. And one of the little kids picks the shape every year. They pick the animal, and they rotate through all the young kids, and they pick, and then it gets revealed. My Uncle Larry reveals what the nut loaf is shaped like. It's really nice. Thanksgiving's my favorite time of the year. It's the one super duper happy time of the year. It's been joyful and wonderful. I've never had a bad Thanksgiving ever since I was a little kid. I go and spend
I
with
feel
my...
like this is a lie.
No, this is all true. This is all really true. I go to Thanksgiving in Cleveland and I spend it with my family who I adore, and we just all hang out and play games, and I look forward to it all year. The closer it gets, I get giddy around my house, and as someone who's bitter and hateful and destructive to all things, it's the one totally light-filled part of my year, and I love it so much.
Well, good.
That's
I'm
wonderful,
glad.
Eli. We're so happy.
All right, Bethany says.
I really was expecting a joke on Nutloaf. You let me down.
I apologize.
Eli. I need to let you know
Tasty,
that.
tasty nuts.
There it is.
There we go. Bethany says, I'm going on a holiday for a week with my girlfriend and some of my BFFs.
Oh, God. Girl trip. So into it.
Also,
so into it.
I had to burp.
Well, that was rude.
Rude.
No, burping is good.
That'll do it for the episode.
Healthy.
Thank you for listening to Gaithiest Manifesto with Callie Wright and Eli Bosnick. Brought to you by Blue Apron.
This
Start
always
here,
happens to me.
go anywhere.
So, and to wrap it all up, Stephanie says, different Stephanie than the one from before. So Stephanie's not getting
There's
3,
been
Eli.
several Stephanies, I think.
No, there's only been 2. At a point, there were totally 3 Stephanies. Ari was right, and I'm an asshole. The wedding dress I fell in love with.
Fine, read the thing.
The wedding dress I fell in love with that was 4 times my price limit is now on sale for, in all caps, my exact price limit. It made me happy.
Eli's editing he's editing the doc. What's going to happen here?
I read it before you deleted it. And this is not going to be funny to the people listening because they're not staring at the Google Doc like I am.
It's not my fault that they're not on the call.
That's their fault.
It's all one
It
show.
should have been funny.
And of course, it's super helpful that you keep highlighting and unhighlighting things. That's good. It's a very good guide so we can keep things
Now you know what
organized
Noah and
where we're
Heath
at.
go through every single week, twice a week.
Oh, well, I've been on. We've been on GAM. I remember.
Yeah,
That's
we've
right.
seen
Oh,
your
yeah.
notes. We've seen them.
Yeah, at least I didn't
And
write
I-
these.
And how well you spell.
Yeah.
So
Also, Also, I need to qualify this because someone actually sent like a mean note to Noah. I don't have a disability at all. I'm just lazy. Like, I'm just a lazy speller. There's nothing wrong. I have no disability. I have nothing, no problems or any trouble spelling or reading or anything like that. I am just lazy. You can absolutely make fun of that about me. In fact, I got tested in middle school because they were like, wow, you really can't spell. And they brought me for a dyslexia test. And the results, one of my dad's favorite things ever was Eli has absolutely no impairment. He's just remarkably incautious. It was what she wrote on the test there. Eli has no impairment. He's just remarkably incautious.
That is a fantastic word. Well, and we've gone well over time, but I think it's good and cathartic to just like let's just talk about good news. And I know it's all your fault.
And by the time this comes out, Hillary Clinton will be president, right?
We can only hope.
There are polls. It's not like a baseball game. There's polls. She's gonna win.
Or she doesn't, and then Gaytheist Manifesto is canceled, and this never releases.
Canceled. Right, because Donald Trump ends up repealing the First Amendment before he's inaugurated.
Yeah.
So the podcast becomes illegal, and way to bring the episode down.
I said she's gonna win. And she is going to win. We're going to have our first lady president. It's going to be awesome. And she has a ton more political sway. She's going to crush balls. She's going to be fantastic. She's going to be a great president. You should be happy about that. You don't have to think about the election, but you should know now that it's the future, right? I'm predicting this. Hillary just won, and you're like, I don't know if she's going to be a fantastic president. Calling it now. Boom. November 6th, Eli Bosnick. Hillary will be a fantastic president. Put it in the scorebook.
Eli said it.
Right.
I believe it, and that settles it.
Yeah, done.
Everything I say comes true.
Well, that, my friends, is going to do it for this episode of the Gaytheist Manifesto on Secular Media Network. Again, definitely want to thank our special guest co-host Eli Bosnick. I guess we should maybe we just need to acknowledge our special guest co-host Eli Bosnick.
Just have a moment of silence for our special guest co-host Eli Bosnick.
Eli, he was
there
here.
It is. Eli, I feel obligated. Just plug your stuff. You can take that however you want.
The Scathing Atheist and the Occasional Skeptocrat, and wherever else podcasts live. But more importantly, I'm going to be at ReasonCon this year. If you haven't gotten your tickets, they are on sale. We're doing a live gam there. We haven't announced the movie yet. It's going to be a ton of fun. I know a lot of people can only make it to ReasonCon, so if you're on the fence and you're wondering if you should come, please come. I can't wait to see you all. I can't wait to see Cal. This is my first time seeing Callie actually speak, so I'm super excited for that. And Jeremiah is apparently going to beat me unconscious, so you get to watch that as well. It's going to be a really, really good time. There's a ton of super cool people coming. I know that they've only released part of the list, but as someone who has the full list, I can tell you're going to want to show up. Get your tickets while you can.
Seconded. You totally preempted my plugging of ReasonCon, which is fine. It's fine. They still got the...
Well, it was written in the notes. I was just following the notes like a goddamn professional.
Wow, okay.
All right.
Here,
got angry at the end of the good news episode here. It's fine.
Me,
it's fine.
Callie.
Yeah, it's fine.
Right.
Typity type.
It's fine. It's all fine. No worries.
Visual jokes. Your fault for not coming to the live show.
Oh God. Okay. So you can find us. You can find the show on Facebook at facebook.com/The Manifesto. You can email us at thegaytheistmanifesto@gmail.com. I'm on Twitter at GaytheistCallie. You can find the show on Twitter at The Gaytheist. And I guess Ari probably has a thing.
It's really great that Eli's here because I think he's probably really qualified for this. I'm thinking about launching a comedy career actually on the side, and I've got some jokes that I'd like to run by you if that's okay.
Oh God!
All right. So why did the chicken cross the road?
Why?
To get to the computer and friend Ari Stillman on Facebook.
Oh,
was that? Well, okay, maybe you like this next one. This one's a little bit better. Okay. So a horse walked into a bar, and the bartender said, "Why the long face?" And the horse said, "I don't have any fingers, so I can't send an email to aristillman4@gmail.com."
Sorry, this is all. No, that's
You're
fine.
Laughing,
It's fine.
So it's good, right?
But I'm laughing because Eli is typing in the Google Doc.
Oh dear.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing really hard right now, and it's really hard to explain what's going on in front of me. So,
I've got one more though. Okay, one more joke. Don't worry.
That's fine. Yeah,
this is
ahead.
gonna be great. This is really gonna make you laugh. Okay.
Yeah.
Knock
good.
knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Orange, you glad you can listen to the SJW Circle Jerk with Ari Stillman and Jeremiah Traeger on iTunes and Spreaker?
I'm glad that I never have.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. Ari, I love you.
They have a Patreon now. You should go check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, except not. Don't
Do
do
you
it.
not? You don't have a Patreon.
I do, but
Oh.
you shouldn't give money to it because there are other things that need more money. But if you are stupid and you want to give us money, then there you go.
You're going to go ahead and provide the URL if that's the thing people want to do?
It's what is it? Patreon.com/Ari Stillman, I think. I'm really organized.
That was a very ringing endorsement.
I was specifically not putting this in the outro until Eli brought it up, and I didn't even have a joke written for it. See, comedy is all about the writing, okay? It's very, very hard for comedians to just be funny on the fly. Except for Eli, because he's special.
If you want to support the show and the activism we do, you can head to patreon.com/The Gay Theist Manifesto and make a per episode donation as little as $1 per episode. You can also head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star review. That is super helpful. Before we go, I want you to know that if you're lost, you're hurting, you're scared, if you feel like no one cares and no one understands, you need to know there's a community out here that loves you, cares for you, knows that you're capable of amazing things and that you are worthy of love. If you're struggling, please don't be afraid to reach out. Until next time, friends, this is the Gay Theist Manifesto.
I think I'm going to copy and paste what Eli's writing and put it on Facebook with no context. Be like, you have to listen to the episode coming out to find out what this is.
Oh. Got a face for radio. Patreon.com. That is what your Patreon link should be. Should be patreon.com/Patreon.